minutes. I have additional assessments for you to complete later in this workbook. You will be able to analyze your type of OCD and many other interesting facts about yourself. Finally, you'll begin to more closely observe your thinking and look for OCD's primary weapon, which is intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts are thoughts that cause you significant anxiety, disgust, or guilt. These thoughts feel horrible, disgusting, evil, and terrifying. Intrusive thoughts are 1, things you worry about but can't solve. 2, feels like you're the only one thinking it. 3, intrusive thoughts bother you more than your other thoughts. And 4, you feel really vulnerable about this specific fear. These intrusive thoughts, with the help of compulsions, develop into full-blown obsessions. The definition of an obsession is 1, the state of being obsessed with someone or something, or 2, an idea or thought that continually preoccupies or intrudes on a person's mind. Obsessions can really change how you live your life. Often, things you do to feel better are actually mental and physical compulsions that you are using to cope with anxiety in your day-to-day life, like a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico over hot water becoming a massive, severe hurricane. Compulsions provide the boiling water for hurricane OCD to strengthen and become a Category 5 hurricane. Step 2, learn everything you can about your problem. So what are the traps that you continually fall into? What is the big lie in your life? What stands in the way of you outthinking OCD? Why haven't you ever recovered from OCD? You will continue to believe the big lie until you can disprove it, right? The big lie is that you will not be able to refute it because you feel it is true. I will show you in this workbook how to find out what your big lie is and weaken it by being aware of why you are so emotionally affected by it. The big lie can only be defeated if you are conscious of the reason you are so intimidated by specific thoughts and feelings that you feel vulnerable about. The traps in life are you trying to feel better by controlling your thoughts and feelings in some way. The traps accumulating in your life are the choices you make to move away from things that make you anxious, disgusted, or guilty. We create compulsions to try to help ourselves feel better. Compulsions are the traps. Compulsions can be a variety of things. They could be you avoiding certain situations or people because it makes you feel inadequate or anxious. They can include certain behaviors you do to feel safer after you start to feel anxiety, guilt, or disgust. Compulsions can be specific thoughts you think on purpose to make yourself feel better about an intrusive thought. Are you always trying to figure out things in your head to fix the fear from the obsessions? These traps or compulsions are entrenched in the way you live and the things that you do, which are preventing you from ever learning that your big lie is actually not true after all. Your obsessions have always felt so real because they have never been tested for accuracy. Your compulsions or traps are what is making your OCD symptoms worse. Your solutions to your obsessions are the actual traps that keep you suffering. How will you ever find out if your obsessions are real? How can you ever find out the truth? In science, they call this truth-finding process experimental design. Experimental design is the way scientists go about finding out what our reality is on Earth and in our universe. What is real and what is not true? In this workbook, my primary purpose is to get you to think more logically and rationally. Therefore, my primary goal is not to have you become happier, but only to help you live closer to the truth, our reality. You will experience much more happiness when you learn to think more logically. People that search for joy or peace of mind directly will never find it. These two things can only be discovered when you first learn to think differently, more rationally, and more mindfully. I want you to be able to discern what is real from thoughts and feelings that feel real. I want you to become more realistic in your thinking by using a method that is used in courtrooms, crime labs, and research institutions. I will show you some fantastic strategies and techniques which will help you find accurate answers to your questions based entirely on scientific evidence, not based on your fears and instincts. Happiness and peace of mind come next after you have escaped the prison of reactive, emotional thinking, your animal self. Okay, so let's replace your big lies with the truth now. Okay? Replacing the big lie with the big truth. Figuring out what your big lie is will be one of the most important things you will learn in this book. Basically, I will help you figure out what you are most afraid of at a subconscious and conscious level. You really have to spend the time to find out what the big lie is. Without finding the answer to this question, your recovery will not be as dramatic. You can't overcome OCD as wholly if you don't even know what your big lie is. I will show you how I help my clients find out what their big lies are and how to resolve them. First, you will need to find out what are your negative core beliefs. Second, you will need to learn what are your obsessions and compulsions. Knowing them will allow you to do reverse engineering to find out the big lie by using a cognitive technique that I will unleash later in this workbook. Things are about to start getting